Is it possible to keep monogamy forever hot? In this video, I'm going to be talking about ways to keep monogamy hot. And this is kind of a follow-up to a previous video I did on, are humans naturally monogamous or polyamorous? And if you haven't watched that video, please go check that one out. In this video, I'm going to specifically focus on monogamy, because one of the narratives out there, in the world right now is that inevitably monogamy gets boring, the sex gets bad, you lose the desire, and that's why things like, poly are so much better. Again, if you watched my previous video, you would know that I don't think one is better than the other. They are different and they suit different people for different reasons. So in this video, I really want to talk about if you do choose monogamy, and there are plenty of good reasons for that, how do you keep it hot? How do you keep it fun? How do you keep it sexy over a long period of time? So that is what I'm going to talk about next. But before I do that, please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Liking the videos, sharing them with your friends when you think they're really good, and subscribing to the channel is extremely helpful. Given the subject matter that I talk about on this channel, I am constantly suppressed, and it's really up to you people interacting with my videos and my channel in some way to really get this information out there. So I really appreciate it when you do that. Hey everybody, I am Kevin Anthony. I am a certified sexologist, tantra counselor, NLP practitioner, and sex, love, and relationship coach. And for over a decade, I have been helping men, women, and couples have the relationship of their dreams in the best sex of their lives. Okay, so the title of this video posed a question: can you keep monogamy forever hot? The short answer is yes, you can. However, we need to know some things about how to do that, and that is what I'm going to talk about now. Number one, you need to adjust your expectations. So when I say that, it seems a little contradictory, right? Because on the one hand, I'm saying, yes, you can keep it hot forever. And on the other hand, I'm saying, well, don't expect it to be like it was in the beginning. Both of those actually can be simultaneously true. In the beginning of a relationship, the hormones are flowing, right? These are the feel-good hormones. This is what we call the honeymoon period. This is that period of time where your partner can do no wrong and everything is great. And then somewhere around 1.5 to 2 year point, those start to wear off. And all of a sudden, all those little habits that your partner does start to annoy you. And all of those things that were never there to begin with, you suddenly start to notice are lacking in your relationship. This is totally normal. So when I say don't expect it to be exactly like it was in the beginning, what I mean is it's not going to be like it was when those hormones were just flowing naturally, right? And that's actually kind of a good thing, because those hormones were clouding your vision and judgment and often preventing you from being able to see exactly how the relationship is and whether or not it works for you. However, just because it's not going to be like that doesn't mean it can't be great and potentially even better than it was in the beginning. The thing is, though, you just have to shift your expectation. If you're expecting it to be just like it was in the beginning, then you're most likely going to be let down. It's not going to be just like that, but it could still be amazing, and it could even potentially be better. All right, number two, you need to talk to each other. You need to have really deep, emotionally mature conversations about how you would like it to be. One of the biggest problems with couples, especially in monogamous relationships, is that over long periods of time, they just get complacent. They get complacent. They stop doing the little things that they used to do in the beginning, and then they don't even talk about it. And so resentment builds over long periods of time, things tend to snowball, and then it gets really difficult to solve the challenges. If you start from the beginning with, hey, here's how I would like the relationship to be. Here are the types of things that I would like us to do, right? and then have those conversations and work together to create the relationship that you've both always wanted. That brings me to number 3, which is to find ways that you can both have your needs met. Now, expecting your partner to have all the same needs as you, or even being able to meet every single one of your needs, is a bit unrealistic. Are there some people that are in relationships where their needs are all met and their partner's capable of doing that? It does happen, but it's rare. In most relationships, that's not the case. So what that means is when you're having that conversation about how you would like the relationship to be, you simply need to talk about, here are my needs. Here's what the needs that I have that I would like to see met in this relationship. And the other person can share theirs too. And then you get to work together to figure out what are some ways that we could work together to meet each other's needs. And if for some reason there's a particular need that you can't seem to find a way to meet, then you get to negotiate potential other ways to have that need met. All right, number 4 is do not look externally for satisfaction. It starts from within. First of all, it starts from within you, and then it starts from within your relationship. And too often what I see in monogamous couples is when they let the relationship go on autopilot, right? And those resentments start to build up, rather than looking for how can we solve this within the context of the relationship, they just start looking external. They start looking outside of the relationship to get their needs met. And that usually is very, very bad for the relationship. So you want to start looking internally first. How can I meet my own needs without expecting my partner to meet them all, right? And then, of course, with your partner, how can we meet each other's needs? So you want to start within yourself, and then, of course, expand out into, internally within the relationship. And really, that's all you need to do. Very rarely will you have to seek anything outside of that. And number 5, have fun with it. Don't make it all work. One of the things that I often see in couples is that, when things are getting stale and kind of boring, usually one person in the couple has a complaint about that. And that's valid. But the way that they go about it is either getting angry and complaining about it, or like, okay, we got to fix this and we got to do this and we got to do this. And they make it like work. First of all, don't complain about it. If something's not going right, simply have a heartfelt conversation and say, here's what I would like. Here's what I need. As opposed to, you never do this and you never do that, and that kind of complaining stuff. So just talk, really openly about, here's what I need. Here's what would make me really happy. Here's what would light me up. Here's what would make me, just be in a constant state of turn on or happiness or whatever it is. So you want to do that. And then you want to find fun ways to do that. I mean, not everything is always fun, right? And if there are problems in the relationship, it might take some work. And some of that work might be difficult. But in general, try to find fun ways to solve the issues that you have, and fun ways to make things sexy and exciting and different, and to keep that sort of almost what we would call new relationship energy feeling throughout the entire time of your relationship. And that brings me to number 6, which is to think outside the box. It may take some outside of the box thinking in order to create the relationship that you want, in order to get your needs met, in order to continue to have that, super exciting, on fire kind of relationship. I think what happens a lot of times is not only do couples allow the relationship itself to get stagnant, but then they don't think outside the box, because it's like, okay, we know there's a problem. Things aren't, as fun and exciting as they used to be. Well, what do we do about it? Well, maybe we should go to the movies. Or what if I take you out to dinner? Okay, those are not necessarily bad things, but think outside the box. What else could you do? Maybe it's every quarter we take a mini vacation somewhere. Doesn't have to be a big deal. Maybe a 3-day weekend or a 4-day weekend. Of course, making sure that you do a date night. And I'll talk about later on in this video more ideas similar to that. But the idea is think outside the box. Think about things that you wouldn't necessarily think about, and be open-minded to them. If your partner comes up with something and says, what if we did this? Don't just immediately shut it down and be like, no way, right? Just be like, okay, I'm willing to hear that. I'm willing to think about it. What would that look like? How might that work, right? How could we navigate that? So be open-minded to those outside of the box ideas. And number 7, keep it up. Keep doing these things. Check in on a regular basis to make sure that whatever you're doing is actually working. Another mistake couples make is that they realize there's a problem, they start to do something about it, and they go, okay, here's what we're going to do. They make a couple of small changes, and then boom, it's right back onto autopilot again. Well, if that's the case, eventually you're going to have the same problem. So you have to keep it up. A relationship is a living entity, and it takes nurturing and care and nutrients, right, in order to survive. So it's an ongoing process, but it doesn't have to feel like work. It can be fun. It can be a lot of fun. Just keep doing it. Okay, the last part of this video is some ideas to keep it hot. Number 1, have a dedicated date night. You have to have a date night. It is way too easy to get caught up in the day-to-day routine and end up just doing your own thing in the evening, and he's watching his show, she's watching her show, or whatever it is that you do. At least once a week, make sure that you have a date night. Now, obviously, if you don't live together, that can be a little bit trickier, but do your best. Your schedules may not always sync to have it on the same day every week, but try every week to have at least one evening, if not a whole day if it's a weekend, where you're really spending time with each other and dedicating your time and energy to each other. Number 2, try new things. Try new things. Try new positions, times, places, toys, lingerie, all kinds of different things. This is part of the fun. Sometimes I hear guys say, oh my God, like I don't even know where to start. What do I do? Don't get all caught up in your head about it. Don't make it more difficult than it has to be. Just have fun. Be experimental. Hey, honey, what if we tried this? And then if it fails, laugh about it and go, well, that didn't work. Let's try something else, right? Just have fun, experiment. Personally, I think the experimentation is part of what makes it fun, that keeps this a fun thing to keep doing. If you're just doing things that you always knew for sure were going to work, maybe that wouldn't be quite as exciting. Number 3, constant state of arousal. I talk about this a lot on this channel and on the podcast, but if you want to keep monogamy hot forever, you have to practice what I call the constant state of arousal. And what that is little things that you do day in and day out, every day, to stoke the passion and fire between the two of you. It could be little things like grabbing each other's butts as you walk past each other, giving each other a hug or a kiss when you walk past each other, sharing things that you love and appreciate about them every day, telling them things that you'd like to do to them later on in the day. Just little things like that kind of stoke that fire and that passion. If you keep doing those throughout your relationship and on a regular basis, you will keep things hot. One of the things that I see is that, some people say, well, I do. Yeah, I do that, right? And you'll see her kind of glance over him like, when was the last time you did? I just did it the other day. And then if you kind of drill down a little bit more, it was like weeks ago that he made a comment or did something. That's honestly not enough. It's just, you have to be doing it on a regular basis. Every day, little things as you're interacting with your partner. Number 4, do your best to keep your bodies in shape. The healthier, the more fit you are, especially as you get older and you go through, many years together, the better your relationship's going to be from a perspective of you're going to continue to stay attracted to each other. You're going to be able to physically be intimate with each other. I work with, couples with a broad range of couples, from younger to older to fit to, health challenged. And so one of the things that you notice is if you've been in a long-term relationship and you're getting older, or lately I've been working with a lot of people who, their partners have either died or they've divorced late in life and now they're in their 60s and 70s and they're starting to date again and they're looking at it going, I can't even get into that position. Or, I'm hearing men say that, even if they could control their ejaculation long enough, they can't hold themselves up in that position, or their knee doesn't bend in a certain way. So one of the ways to keep things hot long term is to stay healthy and fit so that you still look attractive, your partner still looks attractive, and you're still able to do the things that you want to do with and to each other. Number 5, practice appreciation every day. This is part of the constant state of arousal, but I wanted to single this one out specifically. Even if you know that this is a game and that you're supposed to do it every day, as long as the things that you're saying feel genuine and honest, it has a really positive effect. And the more that your partner tells you these things, share these things with you, the more you just light up and the more attracted you feel, the more appreciated you feel. It absolutely stokes that fire. Even if it's like, my coach told us to play this game, your partner's saying these things to you, you're hearing them, and they're going into that subconscious level, and they are making you hot, whether you realize it or not. All right, number 6, I have a little caveat on this one, but it is watch porn together. I'm not a big fan of porn, but I'm also not completely against porn, and I think that it can have its place if used appropriately. Unfortunately, what I see in my work most of the time is misuse that causes problems in relationships. But if we're specifically talking here in the context of how do we keep a long-term monogamous relationship hot, well, this is one possible way to do that. You can occasionally share some together. That is the point. Because it's just a way of sort of stoking that internal fire and being like, ooh, look what they did there. That's fun. Let's try that, right? It's just another way that you can potentially stoke that fire, use it as a form of foreplay potentially, but do not overuse it. Do not fall into the trap of now we have to do this every time before we have sex, or he can't get turned on or she can't get turned on. Just occasionally as something fun to do together to help stoke that fire a little bit. Number 7, explore your own body better. It almost doesn't matter how old you are. Your body is changing over time, and things that you liked when you were younger, maybe you don't like, and things that you didn't like when you were younger, maybe you do like now. Take time to really explore your body and know what it is that you like, that lights you up, that turns you on, because then you get to share those with your partner, right? And then they don't have to guess anymore about, well, I don't know, what if she used to like this? I used to do it all the time, and if now she gets annoyed with me every time I do it, right? Rather than having your partner guess, you should really know exactly what you like and what you want, and then share it with your partner. And this goes for both of you. So that exploration over time as we age and as things change can really be helpful in understanding what it is you want and need, and then communicating that to your partner. Number 8 is manage your stress levels. This is another huge thing that gets in the way for almost all couples. It's life. Life is stressful. It shouldn't be, but it is. We've created a society that just puts us in constant fight or flight mode. We are stressed all the time. So what we really need to do is work on lowering those stress levels, because when our stress levels are high, right, and cortisol levels are high, that's going to deplete testosterone in men. That's going to kill sex drive. We're just going to be too focused on survival and what needs to get done, and we are always pushing off and putting aside the relationship connection, the intimacy, the sexuality. So the better you can do at reducing your stress levels, the more energy you're going to have available for putting it into the relationship and your sexual connection. And lastly, number 9, just do it. Like the old Nike commercials, just do it. In other words, just keep doing these things all the time. Sometimes you'll have amazing experiences. Sometimes maybe they won't be that great, but it doesn't matter. The consistency is the key. It's way too easy if we're inconsistent to fall off the wagon and stop doing these things and then fall back into the ruts and the routine, which is what we don't want. So, slow and steady wins the race, as they say. Just keep at it. Keep doing all of these things that I have shared with you over the long term of your relationship, and you will keep monogamy hot forever. All right, I hope you found that valuable. If you are looking for more of my work, you can go to kevinanthonycoaching.com/link in bio. That is my link tree where you can find links to everything that I'm up to my podcasts, other YouTube videos, my coaching programs, great products that I sell, and so much more. It is all right there.